That's the first layer in. Getting there. Alright, so as you can see in this short time lapse, I'm just laying some 450 chop strand mat in. Now I've laid it in and I've put it up part of the stringer. It's quite a large piece, but what you don't want to do when you're laying in any glass is have pieces the exact same size and put them in the exact same place. So as you see here, when I put the next layer on, which will be coming up shortly, I overlap it so it's not in the exact same spot. This helps disperse all the stresses as you ride through the ocean throughout the hull. If you have them in the same spot, then there's too much concentration on the edge where it meets the hull, and you end up with more cracks. So this is a far better way to do it. You get a stronger, better product. You'll also notice that I'm just taking the time here to roll out any air bubbles and get a good laminate, so I don't have to revisit any areas with the grinder or down the track in the future. Alright, so I've been pretty slack with the filming lately, but currently both sides are done. They've got their final layer of 1708 glass in each side. So now there's a layer of tape, 2 layers of 450 and a layer of 1708. Then in the front I found another small crack sort of developing. It wasn't bad or anything, but because of that I've put a couple layers of choppy in there. Then I've bogged over it, and then I've put a layer of 1708. So that'll stiffen that right up. And also those 2 front stringers in there have been properly glassed in now as well, with I think about 3 or 4 layers total on. They run up that way and that way, so yeah, they've got 3 or 4 layers on those parts there, so it's plenty strong enough. The next step is to prep. I've sort of sanded this down a bit, might need a bit more, but prep the spider to go in there, and then I'll probably do some filming of the glassing in of that spider, and then yeah, the floor's ready to go back on. So I forgot to take video of glassing the stringer, but here it is. The next step was to make the console. Just use melamine and cut it to shape, and then I use some gel coat, as you can see here. Covered the inside, and then just double checked it looked alright, and then I glassed it in with a fair few layers and some wooden batten supports. I then fitted it out with a Lowrance Elite FS9 and some other good gear. Yeah, here's a video of sort of cracking it open out of the mould. Now this was the first mould which I've ever done. In hindsight, I would have used more release wax in the preparation and used thicker gel coat when I initially laid that in. This is just to ensure that you don't get any gel coat sticking to the melamine. I did have a small section which stuck, which was unfortunate, but yeah, nevertheless I was quite happy with how it turned out for my first crack at it. Alright, so the console's all glassed in on the inside. All the floor is pretty much complete. I've done most of the fit out, just waiting on the wiring and all that, but first of all I need to flow coat this inside part, so I'm going to do that now, and then yeah, she'll be ready. By this stage I was in a rush. I had a trip to Broome in about a week and a half, so I didn't film the flow coat and a few other little bits and pieces, but this is how it all turned out. Inside the console, got the wiring all routed up there. There's even a light there on a switch, so that'll be good for at night. It's all tidied, tucked up there. Switch panel, sounder, that's the fuse block, just on a little panel I made up. Pretty happy with how it's come out. There's a little cover to go on that thing, but I'll sort that out when I've got everything I want connected. And the wires just run down here. I'll get some conduit for that, but just got a clip here for that sort of thing. Yeah, she's coming along. So this was our maiden voyage. Me and my mate took it out. We're going to go into Broome in about a week's time, so thought we'd better give it a run before we left. It was a pretty rewarding experience after all that hard work, and everything just worked flawlessly. Yeah, I was super stoked. This is a bit of footage from our trip up to Broome. The boat went awesomely. I was real happy with it. I also couldn't believe how good the outboard was on fuel. It's a 90 horsepower Optimax, and we're getting speeds of 36 knots out of it and using about, I think, about 0.75 of a litre to the mile. So yeah, I was real happy with that, and it just went awesome. If you got this far, thanks heaps for watching, and stay tuned for the next build. Cheers. Are you still on, Jono?
Yeah. Fuck off.
Jono's creasing the rod.
Bust up.